Hello there, this is BTEC Psychology. This is Unit 3 and we're looking at Content Area B1, which is stress. In this particular video we're looking at the personality factor of hardiness and how that affects stress. And here's your theory in a nutshell. Basically, if you are psychologically hardy, that will protect you against the negative effects of stress. So hardiness is a personality factor that if you have it, you won't suffer so badly from stress, basically. And the way it's described, it's comprised of 3 C's, so commitment, challenge, and control. And each of those helps someone to be more hardy and means basically that they end up thriving in more stressful circumstances rather than struggling. So in terms of commitment, what that means is whenever someone who is hardy does something, they will throw themselves into it 100%. Some people now might say 150%. So basically, if they're going to do something, they're going to do it fully, they're going to put everything into it. They're not going to do things half-heartedly. Even if it's stressful, they'll still, if it's worth doing properly. You may have heard someone say that phrase before. Challenge, then, this is the second of the 3 C's. This basically means that well, for those of us who aren't hardy, we would, when there's a big change, we might find that stressful and perhaps respond to it in a more negative way. Someone who has a hardy personality will respond to change in quite a different way from that. Rather than seeing it as like a threat, they'll see it more as an opportunity or a challenge. And they're okay with life being a bit unpredictable and having lots of changes. They find that quite exciting. So challenge is the second one. Third one, control. So this relates back a little bit to what you looked at with locus of control. But hardy people really strongly believe that they control events. And some people have argued this is the most important of the 3 C's, this control element. So rather than kind of being passive and letting things pass them by, they actively try to take part in the world and control and kind of influence events. Even if it's stressful, they like to be in control of things, and they believe that they do have a big element of control over events. Right, so that was hardiness, the theory. Now, do we believe the theory? Is it really a thing, and does it really protect you against stress? So let's look at any evidence we've got to start with. Maddie et al. This was a study that looked at a company in the US, a big telephone company that was really drastically reducing the size of the workforce. So over the course of a year, they were really cutting down the size of the workforce. There were lots of redundancies. The managers would have been really stressed trying to sort out all the redundancies, having to fire people that were valued members of their teams, and so on. So they were particularly studying the managers and supervisors in this company. And what they wanted to do was to see who was going to suffer stress-related problems and who wasn't. And then what they did was they looked at the group of people, basically, that didn't suffer stress-related illness. So they were looking basically at this big group of employees. Why are these people doing fine while these people are all getting ill due to stress? So looking at those people who were doing fine, they then gave them personality questionnaires and so on, and found that they were showing evidence of hardiness, of having those elements of the hardy personality, the commitment, challenge, and control. So that was their conclusion, that hardiness does actually reduce the negative effects of stress, because they found a strong link in this case. However, it's not a perfect theory. We've got 2 criticisms here. This is the first one. Some people have said that actually commitment, challenge, and control aren't equal parts within hardiness, and that actually control is the key one that sort of overlaps with the other 2 and is really closely linked with them, and that actually challenge is a bit less important. So the theory has really been questioned. It's not a perfect theory. Another criticism that's been put towards it is the fact that a lot of the research about it is really based on questionnaires and interviews, and so it's people reporting about themselves. Now, the problem with doing that in stress is that, particularly In Britain, we definitely want to appear like we're fine, like we're coping with everything, and kind of admitting that perhaps you're not coping with stress is sometimes seen as a sign of weakness in our culture, I would say. Um, so the problem with asking people to report about their attitudes to stress is that actually you may have a problem with social desirability bias. People may not be quite accurate in what they report. They may want to present themselves in a better light. So that means that actually we can't be as confident as we might like that the research is valid, that the research is accurate. And actually, a lot of our of the theory is really based on research that's been done with surveys and questionnaires and so on, where they've asked people about their personality characteristics. Um, Not much of it really has been done based on experiments. So that's a fairly key problem, really, that we could question how valid that research is, because it means that then we have to question the theory. Okay, so that is hardiness, one supporting study, and two criticisms for you.